Chuck Norris! Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris! Yeah, the time has come. A man must rise. No occasion will stop him. Nothing can harm him, no matter how mean, no matter the size. Chuck Norris will win. I know you may not think it's possible. When Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital. I don't know, you may have heard, Chuck Norris can kill 2 stones with 1 bird. Listen here, I tell no lies. Chuck Norris destroyed the periodic table because Chuck Norris only recognized the element of surprise. When Chuck is around, you'd better get on your knees, cause when God said, let there be light, Chuck Norris said, say please. He's a man that takes command. He'll rise to any occasion. Bad guys be damned. Let's tell the entire nation. You know Chuck don't take no lip. Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the shit out of it. You know I don't need to tell you why. When Chuck Norris slices onions, the onions cry. He's never had a cold and never had lice. Chuck Norris counted to infinity twice. I don't know about you, but I can tell you this. When the boogeyman goes to sleep at night, he checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. He checks his closet for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris. Yeah! Yeah! Chuck Norris! It's that time! That time to get gay! Time for Chuck Norris month on Toxic Tuesday! Yay! 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 Yay!
Good evening. How y'all doing today? Hopefully I sound okay in barrel. Look at you all. Thank you guys for being here early and right away. And we have managed to avoid the problem before it got worse. So welcome to Toxic Tuesday. Gentlemen and ladies, glad to see you all here. Let's bring Mad Mardigan down. And I got this Orangina out. I got designs everywhere. I'm getting used to the setup here. But guys, great to see you here. So yes, I am somewhere else because I'm going to be in another place. So let's acknowledge those faces here. D-Bud Martin, Jonathan Conroy, Davina Duckworth. Hello, hello. Jonathan, 93 Mega, sir. Nice to see you. Corellian Rogue. Nick, you need to make a montage of all the bad guys Chuck Norris has to fight one day. It's a good idea. It's a damn good idea. I like that. I like that a lot. And of course, a shout out to our lurkers as well. So let's see here. And of course, we got Psycho Magus hanging out on Rumble. Thank you, sir, for holding the fort down. So if you're a man who likes to have it both ways, well, guess what? You have the option of doing that here, because here you get to have options in life. You get to say, hey, Nick, I want to have it both ways. I'll say, you get to do that. And you know how? You can watch on YouTube and or Rumble. So there you go. Okay. So let's bring in Mark D with a C. Sir, how are you doing?
Most excellent. Most excellent. Yep. Good to see you.
Nice.
Even though you're in a different location. Yeah, I had a special delivery today from some Planet Works, and so the operation tonight was hide the massive Enterprise box in the dining room before the wife gets home. So we're doing an unboxing on that teaser. Yeah, but made out of the shipyards. Yep, to my house finally. So the big 1701. So hopefully my wife can see that in the room, but she's probably going to see the box now. The box is freaking huge, but so it was a good day. But I didn't get to unbox it yet. I was like, oh shit, I didn't get to unbox it.
You didn't have a chance to whip it out yet?
No, I had to work and do all kinds of help my mom and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this tonight. But see the sacrifices I make for Toxic Tuesday instead of playing with my new 3-foot Enterprise. I'm hanging out with you guys. Yeah.
You are so stunning and brave for choosing to hang out with the boys for Toxic Tuesday. We could be playing with your big ship that fills up your hands. You really are a stunning and brave man for that. I commend you for that, sir. Well, hey, glad to have you here.
Yep, great to be here.
Yeah, chat once again for those tuning in. We had a problem before the show got started. For some reason, my stream links decided to separate. I don't know why, but they did. But we got solved. At least it happened now, and it didn't happen at a point where during the middle of the show, like things just come undone. So as much as it was frustrating to get another stream set up, which seems to be a reoccurring theme in recent weeks, at least it happened before the show. Darth Viewer says it's still buffering. I apologize, dude. There's literally seems to be nothing I can do on the buffering thing. I don't know what's going on. I would say I know Vince Womack, what he did. I know this is probably going to be not the most ideal outcome, but it could be worse. He just has it be, the D-Bot says he's not getting buffering. Okay, that's good. But let's just say for those who are, because there could be some who still are, set it back about like a minute. I know obviously it means you're kind of behind, or even try 30 seconds. Maybe that should help. But Vince Womack does that, and it seems to be working out for him just fine. Grilling Rogue says mine is fine. Well, to be fair, I was having the problem for a while too, and so were others. Grilling Rogue, and in Darth Viewer's defense, we've been having the problem. But anyways, problems abound. There's 15 of you here. Welcome. Thank you guys. Justin the red shirt. I almost messed up my English. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Oh man, this movie. This movie, as you know, this is a award season. They just had the Oscars. This is the movie for which Bob Hoskins was given the award for the best performance by an actor as Bob Hoskins. And I've never seen
Of course.
And I've never seen this movie before either.
What?
The only version that I had available to me today was the unedited version, the uncut version. So
Ooh.
Had more dog collar.
No. It had worse fights, I think, to an extent. There's a couple of scenes I think also that got just completely deleted. But yeah, I'll defer to anybody. You guys are describing a scene because what I saw isn't what the primary version we're going to be talking about tonight. But I have to say, if you ever get a hold of this movie, get the unrated version.
I agree. Wholeheartedly, full stop on that. All right. Well, let's bring in here. Where is he? Bear with me here. I'm still getting used to my controls here. Mr. Guest of our show, Christian, sir. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you for the honor of being on your show, sir. Always a pleasure.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being here. It's been a while, man. It feels like it's about damn time that it freaking happened. It's like, I got to get you back on here. And we're finally making it happen. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. And like everybody else, it's the first time I saw this movie. I was pleasantly surprised to see Morgan Freeman was in it. And whatever Morgan Freeman does, it's always gold. And my big takeaway from it was a European film with Luc Besson. And anybody who knows Luc Besson, he did The Fifth Element, and he did one of my favorite, a sleeper hit, Screamers in '95. filmed in Canada. And the beauty of European films, the actions is better, and the story between the characters deeper in comparison to American cinema.
That's funny you mentioned that because it reminds me of the Jason Statham movie I saw recently in theaters called Shelter, where it was a European film and the story was deeper. But even though it was a deeper story, you still had some of the signature Jason Statham's that you expect in a Statham movie. But it was definitely a more layered movie. And I could see where you're coming from on that logic because that really does, line up. That's for sure. There's definitely some parallels there. So I look forward to hearing your thoughts and discussion on this movie as well. And welcome to Toxic Tuesday. Back again. Tom is back. He is straight. Maybe not. Maybe so. You decide what you are. I hear a TV.
Yep. Tom's probably watching the baseball classic.
Let me guess. The
Classic
shit I've been
tonight.
playing ain't been coming through. That's why. Okay.
That's why.
Hi, Tom.
I hate this fucking thing. Why can't you just use StreamYards like every other piece of shit individual?
Because I am an individual.
Can you hear this now?
Before this
You don't
stream.
have
Yes,
to
you
like
sound
me,
great.
but you don't need to hate me just because I'm living a big dream. Just like the fat kid eating cake and ice cream. It's so yummy from my big old belly. Do you need some peanut butter cause you so jelly? You so damn jelly.
Yeah, it's my new theme song.
Wow.
We're here to drink, play bad music, do some half gay shit.
Why just half gay?
Watch just half gay. Oh man, that's good. Oh, that's
So
good.
if you're half gay, does that mean you're heterosexual?
No, I just mean you're bi.
Oh, you mean you're bi. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we got.
We're
we
gonna
got
figure that out.
five
To do
men
the
on-
math.
we got
If you're
five men
25% like me, it's called questionable. Questionably queer.
Questionable. Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Being,
Well,
being bi does increase your chances of getting a date on Friday nights by
This is true.
50%.
See, I don't suck
you
dick
can
though,
increase
so
your dating chances if you watch Toxic Tuesday with your significant other. That's how you increase your chances.
more like your chances of getting a divorce. But yeah. So you guys didn't see this movie when it first came out?
Oh,
The sad part
I did. I think Tom and I are the only ones that have seen this.
Yeah,
before.
the sad part is it came out up against Revenge of the Sith. That's why I
Yes,
got buried
that was
in
the
theaters.
biggest detriment. Yes.
But it found an audience on home video, and of course, outside the U.S., it's known as Danny the Dog. And I'm sitting here
Yep.
after I saw this movie, going, "This is the kind of movie that should be winning Oscars and never will." I mean, it's got so many layers to it. It's an amazing story. Luc Besson knocked it out of the park with the story. He didn't direct, but he did the story part. But,
Louis Leterrier did, and he was the
yeah.
guy who did 2008's The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
The second ever.
and
MCU
I
film.
also watched the unrated version. Now there is technically 3 versions of this movie.
Oh, go on.
There's the
about
U.S.
third
theatrical cut. There's the unrated cut, which are
Okay.
basically the same movie with just additional scenes added to it. And then there's the European cut, which is almost the same thing with the ending just a little bit different.
Oh,
So there is technically 3 different versions of it. So yeah,
Okay.
But-
Hey,
yeah.
Mark, why don't you whip it out for us?
Yeah, I was just
Whip it
I was
out, big
just-
boy.
We're just getting it ready.
Ooh, well, we've waited
All this,
very long to
quarter
keep
gay
it in
and
our
half-baked
pants. It's
Talk.
in
you got
the
me
panel
going.
pants. In the panel of the pants. It's time to
Maybe you
unleash.
didn't know, but we have
It's
white
time to
privilege.
let it be unleashed to the world.
I'm not wearing pants. Was I supposed to?
Nickelodeon. And someone cut out. There's no Nickelodeon. All right, Mark.
Oh,
you
you
got
want me
the
to finish
power,
it?
so just,
Are you actually coming
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
right mic there, Nick? I don't know.
is my mic screwing up on me?
No, I just like
you
when you
sound
get
pretty
close. Well, you sound fine, but yeah, when you're getting closer, it's not getting louder. So I wonder if you're coming through your.
Oh, that's
Right mic or
weird.
It looks like I look like Odin now, and I'm a bottom all of a sudden. If you look in the chat there, Soul Assassin.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking at my real.
Your Odin's bottom. What?
Oh, my,
Exactly.
Whoa!
No, I look
Well,
like-
Odin's bottom.
Well, Nick figures out his mic. I'll tell you that there is one movie that Morgan Freeman was in, which is not a great movie, and that's Dreamcatcher.
No, my settings
Yeah, it
are
was
normal.
not the best.
I just checked. My mic is my Yeti Nano that I
Okay,
use.
so yeah, who knows?
my-
I don't know. Maybe
for
it's
my
just
regular speak.
adjusting as you get closer. Then it sounds fine. I was just wondering.
Okay.
'Cause,
No.
like you think when you get closer, it would get louder, but no, it don't.
Balls.
So Morgan
Balls.
Freeman actually is the reason that his character is blind. In the original script, he wasn't.
My big question is, why didn't he drive Danny the dog around? It should have been Morgan Freeman doing the driving in this movie, right?
Oh,
Yes,
But
Miss
of course,
Danny.
when they made him.
I gotta get my
blind.
vagina out.
So what was the reason, Tom?
Well, he thought it would be a good idea to make him blind that way, because I guess he was familiar with the School for the Blind, the music
Yes.
school.
Mhm.
So that was part of the inspiration, and the other part of it was he wanted to be able to see Danny unlike the way we would see him, right? Well, not
Like a
physically,
kid.
but see him as a child, yes.
Yes.
And understanding where he's coming from and all that kind of business, and you know, Danny himself almost having kind of a disability in a way. But
It made
yeah,
them
no,
relatable to each other because
right.
obviously Sam, aka Morgan Freeman, had his shortcomings because he's blind, and Jet Li's Danny has his shortcomings because he is not really a functioning adult. So that made them bond instantly because it's like, okay, well, I can be easily flexible with you. You can be flexible with me because we both have some major shortcomings.
And he
Yeah, I've
becomes
read
that
that Luc
surrogate
Besson-
father figure. Sorry.
Yes.
I've read that Luc Besson wrote this for Jet Li.
Yep. And for Morgan
yes,
Freeman too.
And Morgan Freeman was the only person ever considered for his role.
It's
Oh, it's
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
He even it's really interesting because usually something I've said many times is when I see an actor first, sometimes it's harder for me to see them as a character because, well, they're such a notable actor. But Morgan Freeman is one of those, I guess you could say, rare exceptions to the rule where I know it's Morgan Freeman, but I still forget he's that, and I see him as this character named Sam because he sells me so well on being a blind man that I'm like, oh wow, he really like is making me believe like he's blind, even though he's Morgan Freeman and I've seen him in 800 movies my entire life. It's really impressive that he can sell me on that because usually it gets a little tougher. It doesn't make it bad or good. It's just simply a thing. When you see an actor first who's so notable, you're going to see them first sometimes. It's just the nature of the beast and all that.
Yeah, and honorable mention to Bob Hoskins for his role and the
Oh, God,
casting
yeah.
there, because Hoskins, if you think about it, you could probably think of 3 or 4 heavies, like maybe a Bond villain type or something, that would not have been able to be sympathetic enough for you to believe he'd be able to convince Danny to do anything.
Uh-huh.
And he alternately plays, you know, sort of the good cop, bad cop with Danny, trying to get Danny to do what he wants. And Hoskins
With his charisma, yeah.
Yeah, Hoskinson switched back and forth between those two instantly.
Oh yeah.
Right. And he's in a obviously very toxic relationship, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I mean, clearly, like without even being like facetious, right? Like it's to the point where, you know, Danny has nothing else, right? And Bob keeps manipulating him and gaslighting him through various ways because, you know, it's like, oh, I found you on the street and I took you in.
I
Nobody
put a
wanted
roof
you.
over your head.
Yeah, you know, all that kind of like basically like, you know, what an abuser would say to his wife or, you know, something like that. But he's got that charisma about him, right? Like that it's Bob Hoskins. And when he is happy and likable, like that's the thing is you can tell that's what Danny's trying to do is keep his master happy, right? So like that's at first the whole motivation in Danny's life because he has no other motivation other than he wants a piano.
This is all he knows. He
Yeah.
doesn't remember his past life prior
No.
to, let's just say at this point, we don't know the incident, but we'll say post incident because he doesn't know there's an incident that led to where he's at now because all he remembers is this life of being chained up like a rabid slave and unleashing his maniacal self on others when he needs to by his master.
He's a
Yeah,
one-note kind of guy.
And I love how the story flows because it doesn't slow down for a minute, and even in the scenes where it does technically slow down for the character stuff, there's still a lot of tension because you don't always know what's gonna happen next. Especially you don't know how Danny's gonna react because we know he's this unleashed killer,
We're just gonna
Right.
do the unleashed puns all night, are we?
Yeah. So at
I
what
have
point
already
do you-
done two
yeah.
of them.
at what point do you think he's going to turn around and just like, turn into a rabid dog and just kill everybody? Nobody knows, So the audience does though,
Well,
because
that's
we
one of
know
the
he's,
best
any moment
scenes-
he's a ticking time bomb,
Yes, it's
well,
that
that's one of the
whole
best
like.
scenes
Oh, go ahead,
later
Mark.
later in the movie when the new family, the girl goes to take his collar off, and you're all like, "No, don't do it! He's gonna kill you!" And of course, if you watch it, you know what happens. But that was one of the most tense scenes I thought in the whole movie. How's he
Yeah.
gonna react? So
You
but-
get a good idea of how insanely capable Jet Li's Danny is, even though he's this cage guy who is not all that functional with a lot of basic adult or even teenage traits. But the one thing he knows how to do very well is fight. And we get that opening credit, and you see the damage he does when he's told
Yeah.
by his master they're to unleash hell on these guys. You're like, holy crap, he does this one thing and he's a freak of nature, good at it, which obviously Bentley was casted for the part perfectly because of that.
And this scene here is brilliant because it shows you a lot about Danny, because he's reading his book and he's bleeding. He hasn't fixed himself, right? Because nobody else helped him. But he goes from, okay, I'm leaking just like my bag was leaking. So what does he do? He fixes his bag with the bandage instead of fixing himself. Like
Yeah.
it's just a little character moment of showing you how smart he really is.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
he's been raised in these conditions, he's still a very bright individual. And that boxing, that punching bag was like, basically the equivalent to a security blanket for him, probably. So like the moment he lost, he was going to lose a friend there for a moment if he hadn't fixed it,
yeah,
I feel like there was something figurative and literal to like he had a lid put on his capabilities, not just because of what he could and couldn't do, but it was also kind of like funny that he literally lived right under Bob Hoskins in that cage. So I feel like there's a literal and figurative meaning of having a lid on his capabilities and in the literal sense as well. Which is like, oh, go ahead.
I was just curious. You guys are talking literal and figurative. What was the thing with the teddy bear? We saw that for maybe a scene. It was really quick. Is that him reaching into his youth, or is that what do you think?
I think
that
that's
is?
all he had left from when he was a child.
Because if you see earlier on when you see what happens to his mother, you see him being escorted out of the room and he's carrying that teddy bear. They show in the flashback later on, so that's that same teddy bear.
And he's had
that's
that the
his
whole time, so he
childhood.
hasn't been able to reconnect to his past with it. When he reconnects is the first time he starts to hear the Morgan Freeman messing with the piano. And then when that, when his stepdaughter, whatever, starts to play the song that his mother used to play, like all that starts come flooding back. And it's brilliantly done, the way it's all set up and the way it feeds it to you. And in a movie's like an hour and 40 minutes, depending on which cut you see. And it doesn't feel like it. It really goes by so quickly. You're almost at the end going, wait, that's it? There's no more. You want to see like kind of a little bit more.
I love how self-contained it all is, and like a lot of these movies that were coming out at this point in time, everything just dropped you right into the thick of situations, and this one was no exception to the rule. It just, here you are, here are the characters, here's the foundation, this is what's going on, let's be off to the races, and it sticks to that idea, and there's nothing wrong with supporting characters being just that, characters that kind of, let's just say, maybe prop up the outstanding top character. We don't need to have every supporting character be a main character.
There isn't really any
And there's a
throwaway
great
characters,
art
though.
to more they're not throwaway.
That's what I
but
mean,
it's-
yeah.
but what I'm trying to say is you can have supporting characters just be a really good supporting character. Not everyone needs to have a main character arc where they want everyone nowadays to be the main character. Now, granted, what we get out of Sam and Victoria is really good stuff, and it's there to really balance out Jet Li. But they're really great, strong supporting characters, but they're not taking away from the main character.
Well, and what this movie benefits a lot from is, since it is, has a lot of European sensibilities, is that it's a lot of show don't tell.
Yes.
And this whole like opening sequence leading up to here, like we're already 10, 15 minutes into the movie practically. And you have this whole opening sequence just giving you the entire idea of what Danny's life is like, what he does, who Bob Hoskins is. And then you get this point here where, they have their little thing and because he doesn't get the collar off, and then he gets, beaten to hell, and then finally does. So you get everything you need to know about the situation not told to you, but told to you through actions. And that's what good filmmaking always is, right? The dialogue is almost non-existent or ancillary at this point, right? It doesn't really even matter. You might as well be Danny and not paying attention to what the hell's going on in your life, because it doesn't really matter at that point.
The other thing that I wish is that the way these characters are, is that they would teach this in film schools, because this is a perfect example of why not all characters in a story need an arc.
Thank you, Red Shirt. This is something I stress on. There's a time and place for it, but it does not need to be a one size fits all where every story, every franchise ever needs to do it. Carry on.
Yeah, the characters that are the supporting characters are themselves throughout the movie. We find out about them, as Tom said, by what they do, but it's that emphasizes the fact that there's one character that has to have an arc, and that's Danny. So there's no competition for him in that regard, and I think that's important for the story. It would have watered it down if everybody had to become something else by the end of the story.
Yeah, like if the stepdaughter had another arc, and if Sam had an arc. No, those two are the same from beginning to end.
Right.
So like the only difference is obviously she falls for Danny a little bit, but other than that, I mean, they're the same character basically.
They're the same character, and that's fine because they're there to prop up the main character, Jet Li's Danny, and that's fine because what they do very well between those two. It works so well. You buy into their chemistry together. You buy into them trying to bond and form, the closest thing that they can.
Well, it's the stability that Danny needs, right?
Yes. Is obviously tragedy brought them all together from different lanes, and it's great to see them trying to make the most of the situation. It feels like there's a genuine liking to each other, not just
wait a minute.
God, we're kind of stuck together. I guess let's make the most of it. No,
oh my God,
like each other. What's up,
Nick? Time out. I figured out this movie's uber woke. It's about a mixed family.
Oh. And we look at that. It was right in front of us. It doesn't make it about it. It's just, oh, hey, look.
At no point does Sam go, by the way, I'm black. Or you don't have even Danny doesn't ask, how are you her father? No, at no point do they have that conversation. Danny doesn't question it at all. I mean, they explain it to him, but it doesn't really matter because they're also explaining it to the audience, right? We're just getting the setup. And like you said, it's more about the tragedies that brought them together, not the fact that there's a white girl, an Asian guy, and a black dude that's blind, right? Like that.
Yeah.
But if they made this movie today, that's what it would be all about.
Oh God, yeah. It's a good thing this movie came out in 2005. It sounds like Mark wanted to say something. I'll let you.
I was just gonna say, I found the there's some. I'm always looking for clips and editing clips, and I found someone who actually put together every fight scene in the movie. And it's 18 minutes. So not that you shouldn't watch the movie, but if you just want to watch the fights again after watching the movie.
Oh, there's a lot of violence, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and I don't know if that's the uncut or cut version. I put it in the clips, but in the chat. But it's just
honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen the theatrical cut, but my understanding between the unrated and the R-rated version is just a few extra
gore.
Yeah, some extra gore, a little bit more of the fighting stuff that's more vicious. Because the MPAA will let you get away usually with one or two type of hits, but a lot of times I think that's what it is in the shots where Danny's hitting 20, 30 times,
Yeah.
Because he goes ape shit in some of those scenes, yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm watching this for the first time, I'm like, what crazy movie did Nick make us watch? Like, he's got a collar on, the guy takes the collar off, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here? And this is so freaking crazy. I'm like, this
doesn't it feel like an Oscar movie clashing with a kung fu movie though?
Yeah, because
it really does. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say those are the kind of movies that win the Oscar, right? Like My Left Foot or Rain Man, or if the main character has got something they've got to overcome, or Forrest Gump, right? I mean, that actually attracts all that Academy attention. But because if this was not a karate movie, say that he became a piano master. Oh, there was a movie like that won the Oscar. What was the guy that was the drunk and then won the? He goes in the bar and he's playing the piano and everyone's impressed. What was the name of that movie with?
I don't know.
I'm forgetting the
But
name
you're
of it,
not wrong, because I know where you're coming
Yeah.
from. If you took the fighting element out of it,
Yeah,
like if
and
you just happened to be this guy who was raised as a slave or what have you, yeah, the Academy had been all over it.
yeah, they
know
would be like, oh, he's
what?
a piano master now. Yeah.
Yeah, there is that element, especially with the music and the abusive elements going on, and as Davina Duckworth so smartly she put it, who are the real
Shine.
animals, Jet Li or the people around him? And then you look at, damn it, my brain just blanked out.
Sorry, I interrupted you, but it was Shine with Jeffrey
Okay.
Rush. The piano, where he's this incredible piano player, but he's been living on the streets for years.
Okay,
So,
guys,
Oh,
maybe
The acting.
this
Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead.
real quick, maybe this is a plot hole with the flashing red light because you see him earlier. He's got the collar on. He doesn't fight. As long as he's got the collar, he doesn't react. Same thing when he's shopping with Morgan Freeman. But this time with the red light, that triggers him and he runs. I don't really get that. What was the point of that? Do you understand what I mean? Like,
well, yeah,
all of a
because
sudden,
you're right, because he doesn't take the collar off. Usually Hoskins has got to take the collar off. So
that's when it gets triggered. Exactly.
Yeah. So what is the red light? He told him that was his trigger, or how did that work? Yeah, that was a good point.
Or is it just a plot hole that they screwed up and just to make him a little bit more human with Morgan Freeman, maybe?
I guess I'm missing the question here.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm trying to
so
figure out what you're gonna
why
do.
is it that he only gets triggered when the collar is off, but then all of a sudden the collar is on? You shouldn't be caring about anything that's going on. But when Bob Hoskins hung up the red light in the piano studio, he was supposed to react and run.
Oh,
When he
well,
first meets Morgan
And
Freeman,
he didn't react right away. He
Yeah.
got told by Morgan Freeman, "Hey, I hear something. Do you hear what that is?"
yeah, he
And
wasn't
that's
paying
where
attention.
He didn't notice it. He wasn't.
But I get what
paying
he's saying.
attention
Like
because he was lost in it.
Bob told him he's still kind of like a dog, right? So he'll listen to his master.
Okay,
And Bob told him, "You see the light, you come through those doors." Because
got
otherwise, they didn't need Danny. Is what he was looking at. He was trying to do an element of surprise kind of thing, and he missed the light because he was preoccupied with Morgan Freeman, which normally, like, he wouldn't. You're right. He normally wouldn't be distracted. Something like so, nothing else normally would bother him. But when he heard that music, because that's the thing is that is the thing that kept, because he kept seeing that piano.
Got it.
but then,
and that's
then
the
once
thing
he
that
goes
triggers
to the
his
doors,
memories,
he shouldn't fight though unless the collar's off, though, right? Or
Exactly.
Like, I guess,
Don't
That is
forget
kind of like the
earlier-
closest thing to a plot hole, yeah. Because earlier we had the same issue. You're right, and
Well, you saw he as his master was getting the shit kicked out of him earlier in the movie in that one room, and Danny did absolutely nothing about it. And you could see him saying to his face, "Danny, do something, do something. I'm getting killed over here." And you see one of the guys kind of rub it in that he's not doing anything about it just because he's got that collar on him.
yeah. And he asked, he's like, "Oh, you're telling me he won't do anything unless that collar is off?" It's like,
So it wasn't
yeah,
enough
oops.
that he had the collar on. So
and there might be stuff that's missing between that and in that scene where like Bob started to drill it into his head that even if the collar's on, you listen to me or something like that. That could be. It's a minor plot hole, but it is a plot hole.
Yeah. And not to take away from the movie, it's still a great movie. It's just that one caught my eye this afternoon when I watched it.
Yeah, I never thought of it before, but you're right.
I love it when that's the worst of a problem. I
Yeah.
truly love that, Christian. And that's good you pointed out because it definitely, embarks discussion and interpretations of how you can see that scene. And yeah, I could see where Tom's coming from that. Yeah, it could be considered a minor plot hole. But man, I miss the times when those were our arguments. And that's
It could have been clearly
something we
cleaned
should-
up. All you had to do is have a scene where like Bob is throwing shit at him and saying, "I don't care if you got that fucking collar on or not. When I scream your name, you get into action," and blah blah blah. And he keeps like drilling it into his head or something like that. All you needed was like maybe a scene like that in between
Could
there.
have been 20
I agree.
seconds. It could have
Yeah.
been 20 seconds. All you need is that 20 seconds to show off him being an asshole to Danny about it. Yeah, that's all
Or
it needed.
worse, maybe there was one and it was cut in the editing.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. Because that's the thing is this movie is really clips along, and I don't know the differences between this
It's
and the
fast,
European
yeah.
cut. So, and my understanding is there might be some more character scenes in the European cut that aren't in this one, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm trying to
'cause-
imagine what else could you highlight outside of because this movie like feels like it covers all the bases of the character arc of Danny the dog, aka the movie that was its original name. They're even having on set with the name Danny the dog intentionally.
Yeah.
So I feel like they covered all the bases that they could. Saying
I
that
mean,
he
if somebody
came
out there
from-
has seen the UK cut and seen the theatrical or unrated version, can tell the differences, please let me know. But otherwise, from what I read, it's not specific. It just says there's like more scenes between Danny and the girl and stuff like that are more character driven scenes. So I don't know what's in them. It's hard to say.
Mhm. I noticed with this movie too, and I know something I said last week that I feel like I'm starting to notice that pattern that Jet Li was one of those guys where he definitely was able to, let's just say, throw his weight around, and not in an abusive sense, but more so of a hey, I want to use this element to the movie. And they kind of let him say, okay, well, since you're Jet Li, we're not going to argue that. And
And he
last
was
week, I mentioned it from the romantic angle, whereas I've noticed he doesn't kiss any of the girls on screen after 1999 or 2000.
Yeah.
And in this movie, he throws his weight around once again, not in an abusive sense, by you incorporating the piano element to the story, which is something he, as Richard mentioned, going over some trivia, not about Morgan Freeman. But guess what? Jet Li also happens to be into piano in real life as well, so he was able to incorporate a real life element into a story as well. So I've noticed Jet Li has a way of, let's just say, putting a little bit of himself into the story, but without making it feel like you're being taken out of it. It still feels like it's part of the story, not, oh, great, I'm being brought to the real world. This is just, oh, we feel like this is just an extension of the character. And if you know Jet Li that well, then you'll know, oh, yeah, well, he happens to be a piano player too. So I do really like that. Jet is one of those guys who knows how to throw his weight around, but not be abusive about it. Because there are some guys who do that. I need to make the story about me to the point where you don't recognize the story anymore. It's just that guy's show now. And now you're seeing it as that guy's show first and not the movie.
And it also helps that he was a producer in this. So
Yes. No, it does. It helps. And obviously, the screenplay is, set with Jet Li in mind. The character arc of Morgan Freeman Sam was written for him. No, it's good to see they had a lot of creatives, and it brings it back to when I had that brain fart earlier, when you guys were talking about the award season, all that. This movie is insanely well acted. I know I've documented my feelings very well that I've never been an award season guy. To me, as the movie's good, that's all I give a damn about, is if I enjoy it. But if I had to, let's just say, engage in that argument, this movie acts so damn good between, as I mentioned, Morgan Freeman being the blind guy, but then you got the girl Victoria. She's so curious about obviously Jet Li's Danny and where he came from, and obviously her only setback is minor compared to them. She just is a girl with braces, kind of geeky, but she kind of is actually intrigued by how Jet Li has.
I think she might be a little socially awkward too, though. I don't think
she said, "Do I talk too much? Tell me when I."
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't get into it in the movie too much, but you notice she doesn't have any friends.
Yes, I noticed that. I did notice that.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm thinking there's a lot more
good.
stuff between those two that might have wound up on the cutting room floor. But yeah,
you could tell.
And I thought they were going to get it on too, didn't you? Didn't you think they were going to end up together at one point? Or?
They kind of do in a way. It's just kind of more innocent, kind of going along with like Nick. Is that a thing where did he get married or something? And he kind of pulled what's his face, like where he decided he wasn't going to be too romantic in movies
Charles
and stuff,
Bronson.
or what? Or Charles Bronson.
Jet Li, so I looked into it. Jet Li.
Neil McDonough.
He got married in 99.
Ah, see.
Yep. Yeah, there's one other slip up. It slip up plot hole.
Oh, we just lost Mark.
Oops.
Oh, what happened?
Or no, we lost Nick.
Nick.
Oh no.
Oh no. We don't have a host. The captain's on the captain's
I do have control. I do have control.
That's right.
Because I can do whatever I want now. You're in trouble, Nick.
Anyway, you were saying, Rick?
I have no idea
what happened.
What just happened.
Now we lost
Oh,
everybody.
hold on.
We were doing fine, and then Nick showed up and screwed it all up.
Yeah, we should just at least stayed out, Nick. Just kidding.
Did you guys hear what I last said?
No, you dipped out.
Oh,
you just disappeared. Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just carry on then.
Well, I gotta say, like this. Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something, Richard. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying something. I want to uphold the honor of our good friend who's not here tonight, that 70s rock fan, who's quite familiar with Glasgow, and it would have been his role to point out that there are, by actual count, no people in this movie with a Glaswegian accent.
Exactly.
This could have been anywhere in East London.
London.
Well, you can tell it's a very indie film that was thrown together kind of in a way.
Oh,
I mean, yes, they
yeah.
had some money to work with, but it's, you know, it has a lot of sensibilities of European films, and especially Luc Besson. It has almost kind of it almost has like a sister element to The Professional.
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah,
a way.
exactly. I was thinking of that this afternoon.
Yeah, they kind of, and in fact, it's actually kind of better than The Professional in a lot of ways, if you ask me.
Well, I love The Professional, but yeah.
I do
Okay.
too, but
Different kind of movie, but well, the family dynamic is kind of the same, a little bit of the same.
it is
but
very
the-
much a similar film. There's a lot of similarities.
I remember now what I was talking about. We were talking about Jet Li. Tom, you're bringing up the marriage. We were talking about how
Yes, yeah.
all his American movies after Lethal Weapon 4, you don't see him kissing a girl in any of them. And I was saying that I commend him for not only still being married to that same woman to this very day, but he's made that once again another element to, okay, well, I don't do this on the movie, so I respect that he does that. He doesn't have to, but you know, the fact that he does is great. It shows you Jet Li's a man of respect, because you know there's some guys who kind of, well, and women too, whole women do it too, where they just say, well, I'm just gonna do it for this movie. It's not a big deal type of deal.
I mean, there's a little romance there, but it's very innocent. And I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
but I'm
surprised
just saying
if,
it doesn't
yeah.
become anything. It doesn't become
No,
anything.
and it might have been more in the script too. Who knows? Like,
I thought it
but
was going to happen.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's kind of commendable though. If he decided after he got married that he wasn't going to do,
I
you know,
know
only
all
go
the
so
movies
far.
he does not. He does not do it any of those movies. And Davina mentioned another great comment here. It's not a sci-fi film like The One, but I think there's a great thread between all these movies. The One, you look at Romeo Must Die, and then you look at this movie, and then you look at Kiss of the Dragon. You can see there's all these various types of action movies Jet Li can do. He can do stuff that's more on the dramatic side, like this one. And they got
Well-
more stuff like on the thriller side with Kiss of the Dragon. They got the sci-fi stuff like The One. So all these various versions or subgenre versions, action movies, all are their own movies. And yet Jet Li not only tends to bring in great kung fu performances, but also great acting performances as well.
Well, what's beautiful is
regarding the relationship you were talking about, Tom. If you think about it, it has to be a platonic, very, very young person's, like 14-year-old type of relationship,
right.
because Jet Li is getting his very first kiss.
Mm-hmm.
And when Morgan Freeman asked him, "Well, how was it?" He said, "Wet."
How old is he supposed to be in this movie? I mean, it looks
They
like
never
he's in
say his
20s.
age, but she's 18, so I'm assuming he's probably in his early 20s.
Actually,
I figured he was like 21 or 20.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, what's with Dad here letting this strange dude with a dog collar, or that he can't see, into the house? With
They
this
make a
dog in
point
there?
that she's 18. They do make that
Yeah,
point in the
they
film.
do make that point. They explicitly say she's 18, and that was probably done by design to, you know, say, "Hey,
Well,
look,
Luke
she's
got a lot of shit, I
legally-"
think, for The Professional, so he probably made
God.
sure.
yeah.
but if you remember when near the end there, where Morgan Freeman goes to the Glasgow Music Academy, the lady's pulling out binders, and she pulled out one that was like 1970, and Jet Li in the flashback was about maybe 2-3 years old. So he's technically, I did the math this afternoon, he's about the same age as he was in real life in his early
Oh.
40s.
He's 42 in real life when this movie came out. He looked if you had told me he was 42 when this came out, I would have not bought it, because not only does he not look the part at all, he still looks like he's in his 20s, but the way he sells you on the way he acts like a kid,
Emotionally, yeah.
the way emotional elements you see.
Well,
the
that's
way
what I've
he-
been trying to say for the last few minutes is like, I don't think anybody else could have pulled this off. Right?
No.
Like no other
I know.
action star. There's something about, and you see the range of his acting between Lethal Weapon 4 and this, and considering he has very little dialogue in either, less so
Yes.
in Lethal Weapon 4, he shows you he can play both sides. and he makes you believe in this sympathetic character.
It's so great how he
Because-
gives us. Go ahead, Richard. Go ahead.
I looked for that, Tom, specifically because it was pretty obvious he was playing two different characters with Hoskins, and then we had a third character when he meets Morgan Freeman. And I noticed one thing when he's in the limo, when he's with the crew, and the collar's on, he always has a sad expression on his face. And when the collar comes off, he bares his teeth and goes to work. Like two dogs that are facing off, and then one of them snarls, and that starts the fight. And he's a third character with the young woman and Morgan Freeman, and he's very held back with them because he doesn't want to say or do the wrong thing, so that they'll want to get rid of him. So yeah, I was really impressed with Jet Li's acting in this. It's subtle, but he manages to pull off three different characters in one movie.
You know what are some of his strongest acting scenes, Redshirt? The scenes where he's under the bed hiding because he's so socially awkward, so socially scared. And he when he gets stuff handed to him, he just takes it right there.
Well, emotionally, he's still a child, right?
Yeah, he's still a child. He's scared of everything because he's not experienced a world outside of what he does, is either be in the cage or come out and fight. And now he's in this other world where he's got people who don't want to attack him, and it kind of freaks him out because he's not used to it. Even when a bad thing is around so much in your life, you may not see it as not bad, but you'll get so used to it that it may kind of actually freak you out when you don't have it because you're so used to the bad thing, even if it is bad.
Well, and it has a beautiful setup, right? It uses that classic trope, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but it uses that classic trope that's in a lot of Westerns and other stories where you have the gunslinger who's finally laid down his guns. He's given up on hurting people, but yet now he has to pick him up one last time to defend his family. Exactly. And that's basically what this movie is. He's this guy who is this trained killer. He meets his family. He finds a place where he's at home and he's comfortable, and he doesn't have to be Danny the dog anymore until that is threatened. And once that's threatened, he has to embrace the other side of himself, right? Like that's the thing, is he's been pushing and rejecting the dog the whole time he's with Morgan Freeman and Victoria. But the moment he has to turn it back on, but it's not for the first time. It's not because the collar came off. It's because he chose to.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. And I'm glad they were able to lean on, once again, Morgan Freeman to play into that. When Victoria's getting concerned, he's saying, yeah, well, we can help him to a point, but at the end of the day, he ultimately has to help himself. At the end of the day, he has to want to make the change. And one of the big changes was when he came to the dinner table to eat. Sure, he kind of acted, you could say, off when he used bread as the equivalent of a spoon, but you saw right away Victoria's like, oh, no, the spoon. And he adapted really quickly, and then they were able to have a laugh. And he's like, oh, so this is what it's like to have like a fun, funny, playful moment. And it's awkward for him, but at the same time, he loves it because he's not been able to just have something as small as a laugh. And that's something we don't realize how good we have in life when we can laugh at Louis Jonko's things, like our homoeroticism. And yet here, this guy, it's such a rare thing for him to have that. We have that shit, every Tuesday night on here. But for him, this is like a sacred thing because he doesn't have that ever. I can't imagine a life without having the last, especially the last that we all have on this panel.
I'm disappointed in us. This is the wokest movie we've ever had on here. This isn't even toxic.
Yeah.
But it shows his intelligence too, how quickly he picks up on social skills. Like you see him cooking and everything when Morgan Freeman's asking him about, oh, well, you were in the store, there was fighting, that didn't scare you, but he's just going all at it and all that. It just shows how intelligent this character is.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, that's a great show don't tell scene too, because you had that point where earlier on Morgan's like, I'm not going to ask, we're not going to ask, you just tell us whenever you're ready. Right. And then that incident happens and he's like, now I got to ask. Yeah. And that incident's great because you see that Morgan Freeman has found out that Danny hasn't even registered what was going on there. So clearly this guy's got some history that has to do with violence, and he's starting to put it all together a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying Danny doesn't want to tell him that he hurt people. That's all I was going to say.
Well, all I was going to say, isn't it nice to have filmmakers that actually respect their audience's intelligence? They don't have to explain every little fucking detail to you. I love that.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree, Christian. I wholeheartedly
Well,
agree. No, this movie really is a strong movie. It's not just an entertainment movie, but it's a really strong, powerful movie because of that. It shows you it can juggle being the two things. It doesn't try to be anything more than that. It's it's this martial arts movie, but the dramatics and the abuse stuff is the no, that's what's more overt. Whereas the kick ass stuff is a little bit more underlying, but when it's there, that's when it becomes overt. But it's
Well,
about
the action is
story
very
first.
emotionally impactful, and that's one
Yes.
thing Luc Besson is always good at. Even though he didn't direct it, he wrote it, but still, like the fight scenes that happen, they're vicious and ferocious, but they have so much emotional impact because of everything that's going on around them. Now, the earlier scenes, not so much, but once you get to the end where Danny, first of all, goes after Bob because he figures out what happened to his mom, and then when he has to defend his family, right? You are so emotionally invested in those scenes, right? You're at that point where he's sitting there to the point where he's going to kill Bob, and you're like, kill him! But everybody else, the thing settles down because Sam's like, don't do it, right? Like, we know as the audience he shouldn't do it, but we want him to do it.
Oh yeah, because we feel
So
like we're
it's so
growing
emotionally
with him.
involved in that, yeah.
We feel like we're growing with him through his transformation. We see him progress quickly. We want to see him basically complete where he started because he was caged there, and now he gets to take out the guy who caged him. We were kind of vicariously living through him in that sense, Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And then regarding the taking, respecting the audience's IQ, I mean, I think part of that is that this is an older movie. This movie came out in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and
2005, yeah.
2005. And second of all, you can say what you want about Luc Besson and whether his stories have a point or they're just a series of blessed coincidences, like some of the movies like Taken. He at least does respect the audience's intelligence. He doesn't stand there and walk you by hand through the story. You figure it out as you go. And sometimes you're going 110 miles an hour in a BMW 7 Series. So, I like that about his movies, even if the movie itself isn't maybe as well organized or edited or put together or have enough story. But yeah, there's you don't get that nowadays.
No,
Yeah,
you don't.
no. And the other thing, like, I mean, besides the violence being, you're emotionally involved, it's never glorified. In this movie, that's one thing that's really, it's very gritty, real violence. So when Danny says, I don't want to hurt people anymore, you understand what he's saying. And they show how vicious it is. Because it's kind of more realistic. Yeah, there's some dancey elements to it, choreographed kung fu elements, don't get me wrong. But this is some of the most vicious, realistic kind of ish, fighting I've ever seen in one of these kind of movies. And you almost have to be that way. Because if it started to turn into like Kill Bill type of action, then you couldn't take this movie seriously anymore, I don't think.
There's no wire work in this, right?
No,
There's
no wire fu or anything like that. Yeah.
You're
the
cutting
violence
into
in this-
good.
Violence in this film, to me, doesn't look, as Tom said, doesn't really look choreographed the way it is in a kung fu movie. It looks like street fights.
Right.
Yeah, it is like a street fight.
It looks like you or me, one of us is going home. And because you are in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the last thought you had before the shit hit the fan was, oh man, I should have been at home in bed instead.
I feel like, Tom, you hit on something about the violence. And once again, this could just been coincidence, or I don't know if it was once again adding to some of the real life influence of Jet Li. But I've subscribed to Jet Li's YouTube channel, and I've learned in recent times that he's a very zen type of guy, and I know it's definitely in the martial arts ways to resort to violence at the most last resort possible. It's the idea of
which is exactly what this scene is, Nick.
and that's what. Thank you. You're getting where I'm getting. This scene and what he does after is him trying to avoid getting into that fight unless he really has his hand forced. And once again, I don't know if that was part of the story or Jet Li once again throwing his weight around, or if it was just a coincidence. either way, I do like that it made its way into the movie because
it's very deliberate, I'm sure.
So well.
Because there's only three things that Danny really wants, right? So, and one of those things is he doesn't want to hurt people anymore. And he's thrown back into this and put in a position, and we can see that as the audience, because it's like, okay, he's up against this one guy, that's fine, he'll take the beating to the point, but then they bring in the other guys. It's like, okay, he's got to fight for his life now, right? He has no fucking choice. But here we already are seeing that he's resisting the urge to fight, which then later comes full circle when he finally makes the decision to fight for his family. So yeah, sorry, you guys were saying.
No, I was just gonna say Hoskins, and the contrast of Hoskins was wearing a collar, quote unquote. It's his neck collar.
Oh
But
yeah, I
he's
never
wearing
thought
a
of
collar,
that.
and then this symbolism of that. But he's always, the collar doesn't matter to him because he's always been an animal the whole time, right? The collar doesn't civilize him. He's actually just an SOB. The other plot thing I was wondering, like, how the hell did he survive that car wreck and all those bullet shots? And what happened to the guy that, like, attacked him? Did he take him out without Danny, or how powerful is he without Danny? I guess he must be.
You know what?
Powerful.
I'm glad that we don't see that, because it doesn't matter to Danny.
You
Doesn't
got to
matter to
remember
Danny.
too,
And it would also be a moment where we would have to be sympathetic towards Bob Hoskins.
and I don't want to be, because we know he got shot, and also let's not forget who else was affected by it. Jet Li, because when he arrived back at Sam's antique store,
He's messed up.
immediately fell down. You see blood coming down his hand. We don't know the exact wounds, but I'm okay with leaving it to the imagination. So whatever he got shot, but not to the point where it was life threatening. But it was pretty damaging.
And they didn't take him to the hospital either, which I
And my
thought-
guess
they
is
do
Bob
private
would probably
work.
have at least a bulletproof vehicle.
Oh
to
God,
where-
a guy like him, he's wearing.
Yeah,
something.
I mean, yeah, they damaged it enough and they got some bullets through, but he probably, like, by the looks of it, he only got his arm fucked up, and that was about
And
it.
if you look at the end of the scene after the car stops moving and rolling, Danny practically has to push Hoskins aside to crawl out from under him to get out of the car. And I got the distinct impression that as soon as the gunfire started, Danny grabbed Hoskins, ducked, and pulled Hoskins on top of him.
You probably, well, that or he got on top of him and then they flipped.
Right.
Yeah, I'd have
but
to
that
watch
was
it
the big
again, but yeah.
surprise. Because you assume Hoskins' character is dead.
Yeah.
The boss is dead, and then that was you're right. You don't really need to see it, but I'm like, how the hell did he survive that? But it's it's a martial arts extravaganza, and
I mean, it's believable enough.
Yeah, it's a.
I mean,
fun.
Danny survived, so
Well, he's the martial arts of this. What he's diving into is, this black market fighting, where he's the martial arts fighter. The other guys are these crooked thug fighters who will just do whatever it takes to win. They're not trying to be skilled, proper fighters the way he is. You see the way they get weapons and they try to use them immediately because they know this guy knows martial arts. And we have to do whatever it takes to take him out quick. Otherwise, we're going to get our asses handed to him. That's why they have to throw in more weapons. That's why they have to throw in more buys, is because they need to do whatever it takes to stack the odds against him in order to even have a sliver of a chance against Jet Li.
and I'm glad you brought up the collar thing, Mark, because I didn't even notice that until you just mentioned it. Because it's so true. Because at this point in the story, Bob is reliant on him, not the other way around. So now Bob is basically the dog to Danny because he needs Danny. He can't.
He was his money maker. He has become his money
key
maker.
to retirement. Yeah.
Yeah, he's become his money maker.
And he realized how vulnerable he was without him.
Yep. He realized how vulnerable he was without him. He missed him in his own sick and twisted way, realized the benefit of him. So, not that you should ever appreciate it, but you could say he appreciated it in his own twisted way, that of what was his benefit. Though there's nothing appreciative about that. But once again, from the villainous mindset, he wanted that there. And that was his way of making money. And now he's losing money because Jet's not going for the kill any of these guys. He's playing a lot of defense, resisting, and only striking at certain moments where his life may be potentially threatened. And there's a few months even then he kind of resists, like the time he also had one of the tips from the barbed wire put right up against his eye, and still he just plays defense instead of
the spear
offense.
went through his shirt too. He almost got nailed there.
Yeah, dude gets basically the closest thing to getting stabbed, and still he just plays defense. Insane.
Well, until now.
Yeah, yeah. But that was a and right at that moment, but he noticed he didn't kill anyone. He bruised them, he bloodied them up. Maybe.
But you get the change of expression. Did you notice that? He goes from the
Yes.
puppy dog eyes to the mean dog eyes. That's the thing that you guys were talking about earlier, that Jet Li is best at, that subtleness in his acting, especially through his face and his eyes. He can do it so well, and you get so much out of him. Like, you can feel the rage here, but when he's, just talking to like Sam or Victoria, you can see that little lost puppy dog look in his face. He does it so well and perfectly, and you can buy it both versions of him.
That's why he's such an excellent actor, on top of it being an excellent action star. When he needs to be a charismatic, badass action star, great. When he needs to be a villain, obviously Lethal Weapon 4, great. But when he needs to be this character with his, I wouldn't say multiple personality disorder, but he definitely has different personalities in this movie.
It's almost like a handicap in a way.
Yeah, he nails each and every personality. Even Romeo Must Die, you see that quick scene. I don't know if you're here or listening, Tom, but there's that one scene where he was at the Aaliyah's apartment, and he was being what we would see at Jet Li movies. But as he was walking down the stairs, he became, I guess you could say, the stereotypical loud Chinese guy. You guys remember that scene right before the unveiling of the thong when he was trying to make himself look not tough to all the guys? Hey, hello, I'm just the guy here to fix your place. You remember that Mark red shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he changed his voice tone dramatically to a point where it was almost like a different character. But we knew it was Jet. It was really funny to see because he's a lot more stone cold and stoic prior to that and after that.
Yep.
Yeah,
There's an interesting parallel that some people have drawn for this movie, and that is to the movie Soldier. With
I've
Kurt
heard
Russell.
about that. I've not watched Soldier, shockingly.
What?
I've not
Oh
watched
my
Soldier. Even
God.
though I love me some Kurt Russell, I have not seen it.
If you're gonna go
Oh.
that far, you could almost say Universal Soldier as well with Van Damme.
I love Universal Soldier. With,
Very a lot of
Van
similarities
Damme
there
and,
too.
Lundgren, the great Dolph Lundgren, might I add you, the incredible.
Have you done
mighty.
Universal Soldier yet?
We have not yet.
Are
but
you
we're
kidding
gonna
me?
We're gonna do it this year.
Of course, why am I not surprised? You still haven't changed the intro. It's still the Chuck Norris one, and
Yeah,
we're
I
already
gotta.
halfway into the next month.
Well,
Hey.
I saw you strip down for that hot tub.
Soldier versus.
I saw you strip down for that hot tub.
His dick's not small.
You have the biggest dick I've ever seen on a man.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Red Shirt.
It's the thing that probably for me is the biggest parallel is that both of the characters, Jet Li's character and Kurt Russell's character, are essentially outside of society. Russell's been rejected by the military, and Jet Li is living with a crime lord, and they both escape that. They both go from there to a place where they wind up finding a new family and have to defend them. And they have a, so I would I'd argue they have a similar arc, but not identical. But yeah, you have to watch Soldier, damn it.
Okay, I'm gonna watch Soldier soon. I mean, we're going to be doing some comedy soon, but once we get right back into the action, we'll do Soldier. We'll do Universal Soldier as well. So we'll soldier on, guys. We will soldier on. After we do
What
some
happens when we
comedy.
run out of toxic movies to do?
I
in
don't
50
know.
years?
I guess
That'll be the
have
heat
to-
death of the
we'll have to
universe.
do yeah, we'll have to do something else. See, that's the thing. I don't want to change it. I feel like it's a very like fist pounding anthem. Now I don't want to change it now because it feels like it could be a song that could just be used for Toxic Tuesday in general because it's got these memorable lyrics and gets you pumped up before a show. Like sometimes I just want to become like Kyle and drink a Monster Energy drink and punch a hole in the wall. So that's kind of why I've kept it and used it repeatedly because it's so great. And come on, who doesn't want to get pumped up to think about Chuck Norris getting pumped up? It's
Well, if you
perfect.
don't, he's going to kick your ass. But I do
Hey,
have that. I do have that other Toxic Tuesday theme song we can work in too at one
Okay.
point. But
Well, maybe
and-
we'll have to
can do
look at that
both.
one.
I
And
think we
yeah,
should do both.
We could transition and do both. We
You
can
just save the Chuck
we can
Norris
trans
one for
between
Chuck Norris month. That's all.
Yeah, but we can trans between the two. We could be inclusive and trans between the two, make the story even more woke.
But that Chuck Norris song, Tom, you did an amazing job with those lyrics.
Tom,
And,
are you kidding?
that was
Why do you think I
knocked
don't
it
want
out
to
of the
change
park.
it? Because I love it. You
Well,
crushed
it's
it.
fine, but you got to make it special, so it only comes once a year, like Christmas music.
Well, we still got a lot of Chuck
Dr.
Norris movies we
Christmas.
gotta do.
Christmas comes twice a year for James Bond.
Yeah.
Well, we still got a lot of Chuck movies to do, so we still.
That's
we
what I
still
said,
haven't
save it
do
for
the
next
third Missing
year.
in Action. Would
I
consider-
figured it'd be a
dude,
yearly thing.
Well, of course, I would consider Jet Li one of the top 5. Dude, come on,
Now I
that's
gotta
not
do a
even
Jet Li one
discussion.
too.
I won't
Jet
ask
doesn't
you
have
if
all
you
those-
want to. I will. I will.
I don't know enough
not
about Jet
do it.
Li. Who's the
It's
next
okay.
ones? You don't have to say it out loud, but you can put it in the chat.
I haven't thought of it. I've only thought of a few comedies, and there's no consistent theme besides them being comedies. So we don't have
Maybe
a,
Eddie
a
Murphy
star
ones?
theme just yet. It was just these last few 3 months I was able to do something between.
Have you done
Chuck
like all
Norris
the SNL
into the
movies or
third
anything
one.
like that?
Oh, see, we could do some there. That'd
Like a
be
whole month of
fun.
the
That'd
SNL
be very
movies?
fun.
'Cause I think we did Wayne's
Yeah.
World, but did we do Wayne's World 2?
We did not do Wayne's World 2.
So you could do like
so
Wayne's World 2, could do
yeah.
Coneheads, could do Blues Brothers.
Yeah, we could do that. Oh, see, now we're
What
saying
else
Oh,
is
there!
there?
Look, that's what I was talking about, guys. She's going through the binders in the late '60s. So
Yes.
remember, in the flashbacks, he's maybe 2 or 3 or maybe 4. So that's where I thought he's living.
You must
same
be
age.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm just saying I just
No, that
went
makes
with what
sense
I
though.
saw.
Oh,
And she-
and that's a
Sorry,
great
go
point.
ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that's a really good point. Yeah, yeah. Going through all this stuff, and then the music triggers, because music is so important to everyone. It triggers these memories, right?
Yeah. I love that they were able to incorporate all this together between the music and his mother and it being like a shut up memory from his past. As time goes on through the movie, he unlocks more and more, first from the photos to his memory kicking back in to seeing the photos. I love how it all just slowly, but not that slowly, unfolds through the movie. It feels like every reveal becomes like a really cool, well-earned, well-timed reveal. Everything feels so well-earned for it. It was not a piece of cake journey because even Jet feels slightly guilty about leaving his master, goes back, but this time as he goes back, he does show immediate signs of resistance that second time around. So
And
he's by no means let's just say a perfect type of character who could just do anything anytime. He still has his setbacks.
And the reveals build up perfectly right up to the last scene into the apartment there with Bob Hoskins.
Yes. Oh, dude. Yeah. I had a feeling something bad had happened to his mom, but to what nature, I don't know. And how involved was Bob? That's why I was like, oh, okay. So this is how it's happened. And then weaving in once again the piano element that it wasn't just something that like he latched onto, which you could have ran with that and it would have been fine because we all want to have something like a hobby that we could, let's just say it gives us some sense of catharsis, but it ends up being his catharsis in a way, but it also connects back to his childhood. So that makes a nice little bonus that it's both those things.
Yep. Oh, and I did actually find the sequel to this movie. So let me. You probably haven't seen this. I'm going to pause
There's
this.
no sequel.
There's no sequel. Watch this. Watch this here. How do I?
It's fake
this is
news. You don't
fake
talk like
news. Fake news.
Yeah,
Here.
it's fake
Let's-
news. Don't do that. Why are you doing that? What are you, CNN? Are you CNN?
Watch this.
Oh no, Mark's gonna whip
Look
it
what
out.
I was looking for the movie before you could take down the Argina. I was looking for this.
Okay,
There's
hold-
a sequel.
Oh, okay. I gotta see this. So let me bring my Gina down. I gotta bring my Gina down. So we're going. Whoa!
Sean Astin is in it.
Yeah, Danny the dog is in this, right? Yeah, love is a four-legged word.
What did you say? Love is a four-legged whore? What?
That's what I heard.
And that's when the whores come in.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, right?
His was
This-
like, it was like a third forearm.
Thanks.
There's no way that tree trunk was going inside me.
His dick's not small.
Wow, Mark. All I gotta say about you us showing us that Unleashed.
There it is. Australia. I'll be damned. Look at this country. You are gay.
Back when the Simpsons were funny.
Okay. Let me get my orangina back out.
Yeah, before I press play.
Well, you can push play. I just gotta whip
Yeah,
up
yeah.
my vagina. So don't worry. I'll
What?
stick it in. I just stuck it in right now. You guys watch me stick it in.
There we go.
In real See? Woo! Woo! I felt like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Woo-hoo! As we're
Oh
saying,
yeah,
as
imagine.
well,
I wonder if anyone in the
that-
chat watched that version of Unleashed.
Can you imagine if the Pillsbury Doughboy went to prison?
Oh no!
The other inmates would be like, "Boy, them some nice buns."
I'm gonna
He'd
give
really
you
get. He'd get eaten out every night.
Oh, that sounds wrong.
You'd get so much, you get a yeast infection probably.
I'll be
Ooh.
the icing on your cinnamon roll.
Oh. He glazed so many donuts.
Oh man, I'll put the cream in your Krispy Kreme donut.
He buttered a lot of parsnips.
Frosted Flakes, huh? You know
Oh,
where
by the way,
frost comes
happy
from?
St. Patrick's Day. How did we not do Leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day? I
Yeah.
do not know, but yeah.
Your
Because
dumb
Jet Li
luck.
month. Jet Li month. That's why.
Jennifer Aniston naked.
And the beauty of
she?
this movie is not everything's explained. It's still a mystery how the mom died, and we don't know how Bob Hoskin and all that.
We have an idea.
Actually, we get an idea because we're pretty sure he shoots her, but we don't know their actual relationship. That's true.
Exactly.
I'm glad you brought that up, Christian, because we don't need every single micro thing to have an answer. That we get the answers to, let's just say, the most important things. Well, there is an air of mystery around some of these smaller things. And once again, it kind of brings it back to something Redshirt and I were talking about earlier in the show. Not every single thing needs to have a backstory. And this obviously applies to not every supporting character needs to become a main character. Yes, sometimes some things are going to come around that people are going to resonate with. It's like when you look at, let's just say, the comic or the movie, whichever you want to decide, of Kick-Ass. Hit Girl happened to be a character that just took off to the point where people are like, we want more of this character. Whatever you got to do to give us more of her, please give us more. And then Mark Miller responded, sure, I'll give her her own series because you responded. Oh, I'll make sure she's prominent in the movie as well because people responded. There's a time and a place to do that. And that was a good example of it. Or if you have like a big story like The Lord of the Rings where there's a lot of essential characters. Those are great examples of where you have many of those characters have supporting stories. Sometimes you just need to have one main character, and it's the job of supporting characters to, let's just say, prop up the main character. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, despite modern Hollywood's lack of logic. These boys are fucked up. Oh, I want to lie. He's out work shit to be dead. That's where he starts to really lose his shit. You thought this guy was losing his shit then in the movie? Boy, he's really mad now because now he realizes his grip on him, once again, literally and figuratively, is loosening on him. Not just because of the grip around his neck, but because of how he's had so much control over him over the years that now he can't just get him to do what he wants at his command anymore.
Well, that's why I love how Mark picked up on one of the things I didn't exactly. I mean, it may have crossed my mind, but I didn't really put two and two together with Bob Hoskins having that neck brace on. He's the one now who's leashed, right? He's at Danny's mercy. It's the roles have now kind of been reversed. He needs Danny more than Danny needs him, and this movie is full of a lot of those kind of symbolisms and you know, it's kind of like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, there's stuff going on in the background. It's not just the martial arts, fest. So,
and like I said, even then, the martial arts isn't for like the glorified Like this fight here with this guy is probably the most glorified fight there is. He's like the final guy kind of fight, but yeah.
Like a final boss, yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If you have one big moment, make it be for the final boss. And you could tell they're kind of building to that guy. Like, okay, this guy, whoever he is, he's going to be a prominent threat in the movie. And when you see him in action, he's definitely the closest thing that puts Jet Li through the ringer in the movie.
It's probably the only real cliche thing in the movie, actually.
And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with cliches and tropes if they work. You can present an idea to someone a million times, but if you have a fresh way of putting a nice spin on it, people will be fine with it. Like I've got my car washed a million times, but every time it comes out with a fresh new look, it's like, oh, okay, it looks great. I've seen this before, but once again, fresh new look still makes it look great. So, guys, I don't know what's sports ball talk. I'm sorry that the USA look, but we're talking Jet Li here. Jet Li's badass. So
yeah, the modern the modern movies, the biggest failing they have is that they take a trope or they take an archetype and they just put it in gratuitously. They stick it in so they can say, here, look at him, or look at this scene. And that doesn't really follow. It's like the early musicals where the music and the story don't have anything to do with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is one where yes, that's formulaic, that's been done before, what have you. It's definitely a part of the story, and they saved it for the big fight. So that's at least they did that. They didn't waste it on something at the beginning.
So Curly and Rogue, I'm gonna set this straight a little bit. I don't know all the details, but I know some of the details. The second movie didn't do as well, and they were having issues, especially once the actor, what's his name, who is Kick-Ass, grew a lot. So it kind of unwarranted him playing the part anymore because that dude got super buff, and Kick-Ass in the comics and the movies was super skinny and lean. So those are some big things where they have to change. I don't know if there's been talks about doing it again. We'll see. I hope.
I was going to say, wasn't there a rumor that they were going to be doing?
There was talks about them doing it. No, you were on the sun, Tom. There was talks of them doing it again. Nothing much has come off the ground since then. I wouldn't mind it because I want to see more of the story from the second book done right and the third book. But then you also got to make sure you do Hit Girl's story because her story takes place between books 2 and 3. So I'd like to see that done, from book to movie or show. You could do that one either way. That's one of those stories where it benefits both from being a movie or a show. So whichever way you swing, I could see that being a win for that character or characters. But yes, we should get more Hit Girl. We should get lots of it because that's an outstanding character. I asked Mark when I had him on my channel a few months ago. I'm like, hey, before this character really took off, did you feel like she was going to take off, or did it just kind of like take you by surprise? He said it himself. He knew she was going to take off. He knew from the start this is going to be that character, and just happened to be it. So you could say he was just being confident. I don't know. You decide what you make on Mark's words, but he just said, "Oh, I knew she was going to take off." And
I never lie.
Yeah, all right. So hey, regardless of how you want to see it, hey, history worked on his favor. There were cosplayers, even when the first movie came out. I saw a good amount of cosplayers. Sorry, not cosplayers. Well, I did see that too, but I meant to say Halloween costumes for those characters. So it's clear that those were cultural cornerstones for a moment in time. And if you don't like Jet Li, I'm sorry. We can't all be perfect. Anyways, he's fighting this bald guy, and it's badass. I like how it travels, too. I love the traveling. Once again, as you guys said, this is probably the most cliche part of the movie because it does some stuff that's a little bit more bombastic, and it feels that much more bombastic because it wasn't throughout the entire movie. So it feels like when it finally happens, you really feel the impact, the momentum, the intensity of this scene when it finally gets to that wild and crazy moment. Everything feels so much more crazy because it's not blended into a movie where it's crazy the entire time.
Yeah, it's earned it.
Yes, exactly. It is built that moment. It's earned it. And now that it's happened, it's one of those, oh, how sweet it is moment that we got there. And it feels good. And I like because
This guy, he's so bad. He thought having that last muscle, that last hired hand, if this doesn't do it, I don't know what will. And it gets to the point where just when he thought his best man, he thought could get the job done, he doesn't get it done. So it's like, damn it, I gotta handle this myself. And well, sorry, Bob. Not you either. Not you either, bro. You're a fucking loser, bro. What a crash landing, by the way. Very well. I was like, oh, he had a crash landing. That's nice. But I'll tell you what, that scene where Jet Li has it pinned down, that was tense. Like where Bob was yelling at him to kill him, kill him, kill him. And it actually felt right that it ended up being Morgan Freeman taking the plant and mollywopping him over the head, just getting him to shut up.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't shut up. And I thought that was the best response to it all, too. Yeah, I was like, that's actually because if there's one thing this movie's not, and it's fine that not every movie needs it, this movie's not all that quotable. That's fine because it's more about the dramatics. But that one time when Morgan Freeman's like, that guy just wouldn't shut up. I was like, that's actually really funny.
Right.
I thought that was funny. And once again, they gave him having a small moment to say, you know what, your life, you're still young. I don't want you to have to do any of these crazy heavy decisions when you've been through a life of heavy decisions that you didn't realize were heavy decisions. I'm old. I've been through life. I'm going to nail this guy for you. To me, that made the most sense for him to do that and not Jet Li, especially after he came off a series of ass kicking galore.
Yeah, man, the fights are freaking intense in this. He silenced us all. Yeah, no, but this movie is like so intense too, and it's and you really feel for him, Danny, because he's been so abused as a kid. Davina mentioned earlier, like kids are in cages and stuff, and you hear horror stories, and like kids chained to radiators. It's not as extreme as that, but it is pretty damn extreme though, the way he's had to grow up. So he can't read, probably, right? So that's when they're teaching him music. So it's all this kind of touching stuff. It's like Frankenstein's monster.
Dude, the ice cream scene alone, like the fact that see how he whipped it out, like you're not supposed to carry ice cream like that, but he didn't know that because he doesn't understand the fragility of little things like an ice cream cone. The ice cream just falls off. You can't just throw it out and then everything's gonna stick because he doesn't know better. He knows things, but at the same time he doesn't know things.
I know a lot about ice cream.
Oh, I know a lot about ice cream too. I'm something of a fan myself when it comes to ice cream. If Jet Li need to reach out, hey Nick, could you teach me about ice cream?
I'm something of an ice cream man myself.
You let me know, bro. I got you, man. I'll tell you some good flavors. I'll buy first, second, third, fourth, and fifth meal. Let's go, dude. I'll show you the way of ice cream. You probably have had good ice cream, but I've also had other good ice cream that I guarantee you have not had yet. Jet Li, give me a call. I'm out here on YouTube. You know how to find me. I'm talking about your movie. Let's make it happen. Hey, you're on YouTube now. Now we gotta get in touch. Him and his daughter do. That's it. That's your refuge. Your home away from home. Yeah, bro, it is his home away from home. And guess what? They ain't gonna be there much longer because Morgan Freeman and Victoria want to get the hell out of there so he can go back to America so they can start a new life there without your freaking bald-headed fat ass, bro. I like how Jet Li unintentionally cock blocks this man twice in this movie.
Twice. Yeah.
Twice. Yeah.
If I had to make an argument for toxicity, I actually would say that's the only one toxic thing in this movie. Other, I would say this movie is probably like a 1 in toxicity. But that's the one element is Jet Li cockblocked him twice.
Well, the Bob Hoskins character is very toxic, but yeah, I mean,
oh god,
like I said, if this movie was made today, I mean,
Bob
I guess
would be
by
a
that
woman.
logic 3, Bob Hoskins would be a one, and then they would say that Jet Li is actually the villain, and Bob Hoskins' character is misunderstood by today's logic.
Exactly, and Jet Li would be gay.
Jet
bi.
Li would be a gay, bisexual, Jewish, Japanese, trans.
Exactly.
You would be all of those things. You would be all of them. He really would be all of them. No, and Bob Hoskins did deliver a great performance. He did. He made us really hate him. He made me want to punch my TV a few times, which that means you're doing your job. It's
Yeah.
something that what's his name? Tom Wilson said about Biff in Back to the Future. If I made you hate me, I did my job.
Mhm.
And that's good. So shout out to Bob Hoskins. Shout out to Jet Li because he deserves more credit, not just for the martial arts, but for his superb acting as well. And it seems like he has a little bit of that Sylvester Stallone issue where he gets a lot of credit, and rightfully so, for his action. But guys like that don't get enough credit for the creative elements that they bring to the story as well. Because those guys both have that creative bone in their body as far as what they bring to the story as far as acting goes. Both these guys are absolutely incredible for what they bring to the table. So shout out to Jet Li for the acting elements as well. So thank you, Jet. He would be Simu. Oh yeah, he would be. Simu Liu would totally be the role in this part. Oh my god, it would be the Timu version of this movie. They would have to call it Unleash the Timu version, or if you had to go by Walmart logic, the Great Value version. Great Value, yeah. Simu Liu is basically Great Value Jet Li. Actually, fuck that shit. That's an insult to Great Value.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that is an insult to Great Value. There's not a redeemable trait about Simu Liu. That guy is soy personified, straight up. But I guess no, since this is getting to that heavy scene where Morgan Freeman does the deed. And I love how he closes out, bringing about the music one last time. Victoria does the performance, and she doesn't mention his name. It's someone in the crowd who music came back to his life and kind of helped him rediscover his humanity again. And once again, because Danny's so modest. Oh, it's got to be about you. No, son. It's about you. I thought that little banter between the two was great as they were sitting in the upper deck. It's about you. No, it's about you. And it really was about Jet. And it just shows you once again, there's so much humanity to these characters. It was a great, nice, gentle way to end the movie. It felt like the perfect ending, in my opinion. I thought it was very perfect. And like Tom said, it flies by. I didn't notice an hour and 42 minutes flew by. And this movie, I think, had 5 or 6 minutes of credits. You wouldn't know it though, because now if this came out today, yeah, it'd probably been 14 minutes of credits because they would have to have had therapy sessions and group sex sessions, and they would have credited those group sex sessions even if they weren't actually in the movie. They would just say, "Oh well, we gotta pay them." So
where's the sensitivity coordinator?
Oh yeah, there's those two, the sensitivity coordinators too.
Intimacy coordinator.
Intimacy.
Yeah, and then there's the intimacy coordinators. See, do you see all the amount of useless jobs they have around these things? It's insane.
And the 25 producers.
Oh God. And the 25 plus writers, co-writers, co-producers, secretaries having secretaries. Oh man, it's insane. But gents, as this starts to get to the close, and chat, please participate with your toxic thoughts on Unleashed. I'm counting on low scores, and I'm gonna admit I'm one of them. So for our guests, you get to be the leadoff man, Christian. By the way, thank you for being on the show, sir. What are your toxic thoughts on Unleashed?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I apologize.
What are your toxic thoughts on Unleashed?
Well, my toxic thoughts are the martial arts scenes were mint, perfect. It actually reminded me of a modern day Bruce Lee, to be honest with you. The way he was doing it, the way it was coordinated. The story, being European, was a good story. It was deep and all that. Not necessarily toxic, but out of 1 to 10, I would put this movie a 5, and 4 out of those toxic points would be Bob Hoskin and his awesome acting.
Ooh,
and that's pretty much it.
4 for toxicity. Okay, it's valid. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. I can actually, that might even change my mind because I actually had it ranked lower. All right, killer, dude. All right. Tom, what are your toxic thoughts on Unleashed?
Yeah, I got to reflect that. I think you pretty much nailed it. Bob Hoskins is the most toxic part of the film. Otherwise, like I said, this movie would be considered woke today, most likely, but it doesn't fall into the woke tropes, right? Like, we know the things it would do, but thankfully it was made in 2005 before woke was a thing, and it doesn't call attention to the diversity so much as just the idea of this guy deserves a family, you know, and they're a family that's been made up of, like you said, Nick, all tragedies, you know, brought them together. And so, yeah, you root for them. You want them to be happy. Overall, yeah, I'd say maybe a 4 or 5 toxicity level, but film's amazing. It should have gotten Oscars and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. And we're going to transition soon to look at some clips from this movie, courtesy of Mark. So, Red Shirt, sir, what are your toxic thoughts on Unleashed?
Wow. There are two very different sides to this movie when it comes to toxicity. And there are very few people who aren't. Bystanders aren't. The lady at the market isn't. But you basically have like 4 characters who aren't toxic, then everybody else is. And of course, Bob Hoskins' character is the king of toxic for this. But we joked a little bit about the fact that you know, Morgan Freeman and his daughter taking in Jet Li makes it a mixed family. Well, you know, the woke crowd would be upset that nobody said anything about it. They didn't praise it or bring it up or say
right.
proudly.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't proud. They didn't appear to be proud of it. They barely even noticed. They didn't even seem to notice it. And that would really be a trigger for people today. The villains, oh my God, the villains are all, to a man, toxic males from hell.
Mm-hmm.
And the family that Jet Li starts out in with Bob Hoskins, as the father figure, is the single most dysfunctional family I think I've ever seen in a movie. And of course, that's the basic storyline, is that Danny goes from that family to a real family where he can be part of it and a contributor to it, and he can learn and grow and finally become a fully formed human being, a man. So the whole sophistication of the story for Danny, that would not fly today either, because he's not becoming female. He's not becoming feminized. I mean, yeah, he's becoming.
Yeah, he transitioned at the end. You're right. Yeah.
He's becoming less violent, but he's not becoming feminized. Now, shame on you.
Yeah. Instead of a piano, if he had said he wanted a vagina. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, you know, the parts of the movie that are toxic, to me, make up for more than the parts of the movie that aren't toxic. So I would put this at a 7.5.
Ooh, wow. I think that's gonna be the highest score of the show. Wow,
Probably
Richard.
will.
That's a convincing, I gotta give it to you. That's a convincing argument, though. Phantom Outsider says Hoskins was so toxic in this movie, he deserves a New Jersey IPA site named after him.
Oh, no. Hoskins deserves a super fun site named after him.
Oh, man. Oh, that's good. All right, Mark, whip it out. Whip out your toxic score.
I'll whip it out. Yeah, I kind of regret it. And the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, even though you sympathize with Danny, I'm like, this is freaking toxic how he's got to live, right? So even though the characters and the whole situation is toxic, so I'd give it like a 7, maybe not as high, but you know, Hoskins obviously is for all the reasons everyone mentioned before, but the whole situation is completely toxic. And I mean, Morgan Freeman, of course, was redeeming with his, you know, with his family, and maybe a little bit too trusting. I don't know if I would let you know, I guess, well, he doesn't know that he's a karate master, but or what he's been doing, but that's kind of that's a whole weird situation. This movie is a twisted gem. I mean, it's just it's crazy. The martial arts are so fantastic. And I was reading before Jet Li was maybe going to say this was his last martial arts movie, so I don't know if that helped draw crowds. It didn't turn out to be, but yeah, he's really good in this. Maybe I think it would have worked a little bit better if he looked a little bit younger, he does look young, but if he looked a little bit more innocent and young and was able to, do all this kick-ass stuff. But yeah, I'm giving this a 7. This whole setup is, what happens when his mom is toxic, all the women that Bob Hoskins is abusing, and he only got blocked twice, but we don't know what else happened the other time. So he's a loan shark, and just the whole setup here is just amazingly toxic. So if you haven't seen it, watch this, or at least watch the 20 minutes of just the fights that you can find on YouTube. But you're missing a lot if you just do that, because there's a lot of context to the fights, and it's
It
really
definitely adds weight to it. It really does
Yeah.
have weight to the fight. It definitely is a movie where the action does stand on its own merits. It does. But when you see the emotions play into all of it, it definitely adds the weight to it. And sometimes you can feel more of the emotional punch of the movie when you see the action, because it's built up by the emotions that came before it. So when you have that emotional buildup, it makes the action mean more.
Yep.
So no, thank you, Mark. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I saw you got the clips ready. So chat, by the way, I see we only got one toxic score, which is from Jonathan Conroy. He says 5.5 is still a good popcorn movie. Thank you for your toxic score. For me, I'm going to go with Christian. I think he said around 4. I'm going to go around a 4 as well. I'd say 3 points alone for Bob Hoskins. And the other 1 point is for the toxic environment and cock blocking of Jet Li, not once, but twice. That was hilarious. Even though
Well, he
it was
learned how to
intended
do
be
that from
hilarious.
his mother.
Ah!
So that's why she got killed, remember? Because she wouldn't sleep with
Yeah.
him. And that's the beauty, because
Yeah.
you probably brought that up. That we don't even understand their relationship. Who knows? Who cares? Right?
Yep.
Maybe he lent her the money to get through school and he was trying to nail her and she wouldn't. Or just maybe he saw her and decided, I want her, and wouldn't leave her alone. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good, Tom. I'm glad you mentioned it, because that gives me a new thought. Because sometimes when you go into so many of the smaller details, sometimes you end up creating a bigger mess, and you end up creating more problems for yourself as a writer, because you're like, okay, well, now that I created this thing that needs to be that needs backstory, now I had to create problems and solutions around it. So you're giving yourself more work that you didn't have to have from the beginning, when you constantly give every single character a backstory, every single character an arc. Not everything needs to have a something to it. Sometimes you just got to answer the most important things and then leave some mystery for the rest.
And
That's
over
fine.
explaining, I find, weakens the story, because then
Oh,
it
that
becomes
can do
bland.
it too. And yeah, you can end up hurting the movie like that as well. I feel like this movie, at least from what we got from the theatrical cut and the unrated cut, it answered the right questions when we needed them. And the way it built up to reveal everything was really well paced and well earned. So yeah, I'm gonna still go with a 4 for toxicity, but as a movie, I really enjoy the hell of this movie. I love this movie. It's a great action drama for the Jet Li. Once again, he has a very wide. I can't believe I'm saying this word, but I have to because it fits. He has a very diverse plate of action movies. It's true. I know that word's taken a lot of shit stains, and rightfully so, but it really is diverse, genuinely speaking. And you see all these things he could do in action movies. Yes, there's going to be some common threads, as I mentioned about the romance, so not him kissing women in the movies, or the martial arts aspect, or the Zen aspect. But his movies, there's a similar but different. Once again, the drama, the sci-fi, the thrillers. Like, he can really do it all. And then the movie where he's the villain, he can do it all. He really can. So shout out to Jet Li. But guys, dudes, lady, we're gonna be transitioning over to Rumble, and courtesy of Mark D with a C, we're gonna be watching some clips and a trailer from Unleashed. So I'm gonna post this link one more time here in the chat for you. Which, by the way, I want to thank you all for being here. We had up to 22 people a few times here. I thank you guys for that. But that's our link on Rumble. So if you so wisely and proudly want to come out of the closet and transition with us, that would be highly encouraged. And Christian, it seems like you're going to go. So, sir, if you got to go now, let's just transition you now, and then we'll
Thank you.
transition over Rumble. So, by the way, before you plug your plug, I know you have a Rumble link. Since we're going to be transitioning to Rumble, why don't you just plug your Rumble channel on Rumble while we're doing it? By the way,
We'll do
thank you
both,
for being. You're a fucking awesome guest, and I want to have you on again soon. So please
All right.
come back.
If the
gonna be
days
up
off
to
the
it,
line.
say, come again.
Okay, well, no problem. And yeah, maybe we can do Saturday Night Live movies after this. That'd be fun too.
Ooh, it would be fun. It would be very fun. I'd love to have you from.
All right. So basically, here's the thing. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Mark.
I put it in. Yep.
Thank you, Mark.
I don't know how to do that. I'm a truck driver by trade, and technology is just something I barely grasp, like the phone, the laptop, and the links. That's it. But seriously speaking, I basically have my own channel, Vinyl Revival, and more or less I showcase some of my vinyl collection. And it's basically a music channel. I'll do once in a while here and there, maybe once a week. I'll do a music stream where I take requests and I play music, my own stuff and stuff like that. It's mostly classic rock, 60s to the 90s. And once a month now, when schedule allows, we cover a band. The last band we covered was J. Gall's band. So that's what I do on Vinyl Revival and Revival with a Y.
Vinyl Revival with a Y. And guys, I highlighted the link to his Rumble channel.
Thank
Courtesy of
you.
Mark U with a C, dropping the pipe of link on the chat. Thank you, Mark, for dropping pipe. I appreciate that.
Anything
And
for
Christian, once
yep.
again, thank you for being here, sir. It was great to have you as a guest. I really do want you to come again. So please, the door is open. All
But
right?
unlike Christmas, I can't come twice, only once.
Oh!
And then I'm done. There we go. All right, guys. You have a
All
good
right,
night,
take
all.
care, man. Thank
you.
All right, cheers, man. All right, chat, 15 seconds. We're going exclusively, transitionally over to Rumble. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Are
3,
you ready?
2,
Are
1,
you
and go.